Welcome to Islamic Life Coach School Podcast. Apply tools that you learn in this podcast and your life will be unrecognizably successful. Now your host, Dr. Kamal Akhtar.
Hello, everyone. Peace and blessings be upon all of you. Today, I have a very special podcast host who's a coach that I've worked with in different capacities, and I'm extremely excited to have her as a guest. Her name is Corinne Crabtree, and she is a master certified life coach with an 8-figure business that she built from scratch. When we think of $10 million a year, we think of generational wealth, something that might be handed down to someone. But in her case, she created so much value in the world through her experiences that she was able to generate $10 million a year through her business. Corinne Crabtree is a master certified weight and life coach with a mission to help every woman break generational curses in order to improve their personal health and wealth. Corinne lost 100 pounds 15 years ago, and ever since she has dedicated her life to teaching women how to do the same. Corinne is one of the leading voices in the weight loss and business industry. She's the host of a wildly successful podcast called Losing 100 Pounds with Corinne, which has been downloaded over 50 million times in 160 countries. And over 1 million women have taken her free weight loss course. And Corinne now serves 14,000 paid members in the No BS Weightloss Program. Corinne also founded the No BS Business Women's Membership. The program provides online entrepreneurs with simple frameworks, tools, and focus they need to take action and build the business of their dreams. In addition to this, Corinne offers advanced weight loss coach training for coaches, dietitians, and medical professionals, people who want to improve their clients' weight loss outcomes. In my own experience of her work, she does use a lot of curse words in her work, but for my own learning, I look past that because the insights she offers in weight loss and the business world are beyond what you can learn from books. And this, to me, is an extremely valuable asset. Don't worry, this podcast itself is clean, and today she has been gracious enough with her time to talk to us about everything entrepreneurship. What us as Muslim women can do for businesses that combines a good family lifestyle as well as financial independence. So if any of you are interested in checking out her work after this episode, you are welcome to follow her on Facebook and Instagram, and I will leave the links in the show notes, and after the podcast, I will also share other ways you can work with her. So without any further ado, this is Corinne Crabtree, Master Certified Weight and Life Coach. Hi, Corinne. It's so good to have you here. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I appreciate you having me come on your podcast.
Yes, it's my pleasure. So just to kind of get us started, for the people who don't know you, how would you describe what you do, who you are? Tell me all about it.
Well, I'm pretty outspoken and sassy at times. I started losing weight back in 2005. And I had struggled with my weight all my life and lost 100 pounds and decided after that I wanted to start a business. And so since business officially began in 2007, I have grown it to over 14,000 weight loss members. And then in the last year, I decided to open a business membership because there's just a lot of lessons that I think women in particular need to learn about starting, growing, and scaling a business, just in terms of how do you not overwork? How do you put in the right systems? How do you believe in yourself? Because as women, we don't get a lot of that messaging. And so I wanted to start a membership around business to teach not only like the things that I've done to be successful, to make that next person's job a little easier, but mainly just to give women like an example of someone probably just like them. The people that I work with were like me on day one, which is, wow, like I want to help people lose weight. I did it and everybody should feel this good. And was like, I'm going to like go out on the internet and see if anybody wants to work with me. And that was how I started, like literally an email, just send it out to some people to say like, I'll help you. So I think it's important that, that women who've been successful are like coming on podcasts or starting their own little business memberships and masterminds, different things like that to just help the next woman have an easier road ahead of them.
Yeah, we definitely need that mentorship. And it's good to see that you're kind of describing a stepwise process where you say it's starting, growing, and scaling, because a lot of my listenership has people who are just kind of maybe thinking about it or kind of on the edge to decide if they want to go ahead or not. And at the same time, the education that you provide has to do just with the weight loss part or any kind of business part?
Any kind of business. So it's more about, I want to teach people who are going to be either you're going to be a coach, a course creator, or you're going to have some kind of business that lives online and it gets marketed online, whether that's through paid advertising or just organic marketing. Most of my members, like we tell them from the get, do not buy ads until we have got the foundations in place. We know your free things work. We know like your social strategy, like you're consistent. Like there's so many basics to running a business that you want to apply first before you ever want to pay for advertising. So I work with people from like all types of businesses, from we got burnout coaches. We have dentists. Like we have people literally who are doing all kinds of things. They are like, I make my whole business not be online, but I promote it online. Yeah. I'm trying to get customers online. So
that's a big piece. I do believe that the online piece of it these days has very much to offer women that are looking for the good family work-life balance. Yes. I mean, I'm going to work in my office now versus I'm going to go home and go in my living room. And that's a very a large appeal to it. And it's like, you're right. If it's a brick and mortar business, still a lot of promotions, a lot of social media is happening online. So it's good that there's a bunch of hand-holding component. But then besides what I mentioned, is there anything else that you think women need to keep in mind when they're considering entrepreneurship versus 9 to 5, when they're on their starting their journey of financial independence?
If you're going to build a business while also working a 9 to 5, we have to be really honest with ourselves that you're not going to be able to do it in like a couple of hours a day, a couple of days a week. If you actually want, I think it's really important when you first start, if you're entertaining the idea of it, know early on, like, like for this year, this is what the goal would be. And to sign up for a goal that you're also willing to work for. So like if you wanted to make 100K the first year, you're going to have to put in a little bit more hours than someone who is just like, I'd like to make my first 20K in a year. Yeah. So I think being realistic about what, not only what your goal is, but also what that requires of you, because then you make smart trades in your life. Some people, they just don't think through all that. And then that's how they end up getting overly focused on working. And then the family ends up falling off the radar. If you want to spend X amount of hours a week with your family, or I'm going to want to do these things with my kids, then you have to make sure that that's a part of your business plan. Like, it can't be, I'm just trying to squeeze all that in, or I'm mad because like a lot of us get mad or we feel guilty that we can't do it all. And I always ask people this, is like, where did you hear you're supposed to do it all? Like, we're never supposed to do all of it. What we're supposed to do is figure out what's most important to us and then design our life to focus on those things. And the things that aren't most important to us, we have to be willing to let some of that go temporarily sometimes, or set it aside for now, or just decide it was never that important. And now my life is transitioning over here.
Yeah. That priority part is so important because, like, you're right, we kind of end up falling into this guilt, or I'm mad that I am unable to give time to my family. Well, did you think about it? Did you prioritize it accordingly? Did you set hours aside to do that? Which is why my main emphasis is on mindset coaching. And I have podcast guests like yours so we can borrow an elevated, much more refined mindset from more successful women who have kind of taken this journey. We can take the mentorship. So weight loss for you, because it was a personal experience of yours. And that's why you decided to do the business aspect of it as well. That's beautiful. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think for a lot of us, it's, it's easy to start a business where you already feel like you've either solved the problem, you're well on your way to solving the problem, or you're at least ahead of other people. Like the familiarity you have with a problem, a product, a service, or whatever, that's always the easiest business to start. It'd be like me saying, my next venture is to start brain surgery. Well, I'd have to go get a lot of training to do that, But it made sense for me. Like when I started my business with weight loss, was like, I solved this problem. Like, I think I know what I could do to help other people. Then once I solved growing a business as a problem, I was like, hey, I think I could help other people do the same thing. But I will say it doesn't always have to be that way. like my husband and I just bought a restaurant 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
30 years ago, we both had a ton of restaurant experience, but it'd been 30 years. And so it's a newer thing to us. We're going to have to like kind of dig in and stuff, but you don't always have to have solved the problem or be the best at it. Like I've never run a restaurant. He's never run a restaurant. We worked in the restaurant industry in different facets, and we're going to take all that knowledge and then learn how to run a restaurant. So it's not exclusive that you've had to solve the problem, but it definitely is a lot easier, I think.
Yeah. So it's good that if you have something in your pocket that you can work with, but at the same time, don't let it hold you back, because you might not have a problem to solve, but you might have a lot of value you can give otherwise, a lot of excitement, a lot of curiosity just to how to be able to run a business. It kind of leads me to my next question, which is, in your opinion, you think entrepreneurs are made or born? Like, do they have that general curiosity, or everyone has that little, that like underlying talent that, yes, I could probably get something off the ground based on my interests, versus no, I just belong in a employed W-2 9 to 5 and that's it?
You're made. I mean, it's like I've worked, like I worked in a corporate setting for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had no dreams of having my own business. Like I never really thought about it. In fact, it wasn't even on my radar, mainly because in my family, I just grew up really poor. And the whole idea was you would go out and get a job, or you would get married, and your security would come from, getting married. And so for me, like when I think about entrepreneurship, it has a lot of like really attractive traits to it, but you kind of really have to think it through for you. It's one of those things where you have to like making decisions. And it doesn't mean you have to be in love with it and super confident, but you've got to like that, you want the responsibility of it. You also need to be a self-starter. Like an entrepreneur has to be able to drag themselves into work when they don't want to. Like your business is never going to demand you to be there. Like that, it's like the curse and the like, the really cool thing about, when you're your own boss, you get to set your hours, but your hours also don't really ever end.
Yeah.
So it's like when you are your own boss, you get to set your hours, but you have to learn how to set them, because when you own your own business, like a lot of times when people have a day job or like a regular job, sometimes they bring it home with them, like sometimes that happens, but a lot of times when people have a job, when they leave the job, they're like, oh, it's for somebody else to worry about now. I can just go home and relax. When you own your own business, you have to learn how to do that, because especially if you work out of your own home, like I do, like this is your house, right?
Yeah.
But your business is home.
Really?
So you don't have a lot of like real triggers. Like when we designed this house, we made an agreement that we would only work in our offices, and that we had designated spaces in the house we were allowed to work. At these other places, work does not happen here, because your brain needs those mental triggers that you're off. Otherwise, it just stays with you. So I just think like entrepreneurs, I would love to say they're born. I think some people are born with certain traits that lean into being an entrepreneur, but even like, let's say you're creative and you like making decisions and stuff, that doesn't mean you're really accountable. It doesn't mean you're self-motivated.
Yeah.
There are just so many key elements to being an entrepreneur, and you have like, a lot of us just have to learn those things.
Yeah. Relate so much to your story, because we have a family that has humble beginnings as well. And my dad, when I was 6 years old, he told me, I always imagine you as a doctor. I don't know why. And when he said that, it kind of planted a seed deep in my psyche that that's what I do. And then growing up, you get these messaging about the financial stability with the medical career. And I love what I do. I still work. I have a full-time job. I love what I do. Like, don't get me wrong. But the way I got started had to do with, if you don't do this, you don't have any other choice. Yeah. And then with that mentality, I thought that I had no entrepreneurial bone in my body. I was like, oh, you get a degree, you go to work, you make people happy that you work for, they pay you, and you call it a day. And then like I was burning out, and then I found coaching. It was a whole big transformation. And I talk a lot on the podcast, but that's when I started my own business. And that's when I started to realize that if there are no physical boundaries, like you're not actually getting in the car and driving to work, you're just like opening the door and walk in your office, then those boundaries need to come from your mind, because it's one thing that you can say, like I stopped working 9 to 5, but then I started working 24/7, because you just can't build those boundaries. Like you're waking up on your phone and you're doing something on, it's like it gets attached to you. So that's a very good point in terms of entrepreneurship and how to keep it clean and how to keep the balance. If you do decide to go that route, then how to keep the work-life balance. In terms of the motivation and the strong decision-making capacity, I feel like motivation is very overrated, but we do have to find that, like you say, there's no external entity pressuring us to put our work and energy into the work. How do you find motivation, and what do you think people can rely on when they're looking for that?
So I love what you said, because I am on the same horse. Like I am always telling people, like, we're so unmotivated most of the time. I don't know why we as humans feel entitled to be motivated to go do things. And I like to think about motivation as this. Motivation is when you feel really good about what you're going to do. Of course, we can sweet talk ourselves into, like, we can look at our thoughts and look at where we're making things harder. But for an entrepreneur, the biggest skill is not motivation. Most of the time, stuff you're going to do in your business is not super fun. Like it's not even hard. It's just boring. Yeah. Like if you've been around as long as I have, I've had 16 years of writing my Monday newsletter. Like a few years ago, it got boring. Like I don't want to write it anymore. Repetitive. And it doesn't matter if I tell myself, oh my gosh, so many people are going to love it and change their lives. Like I can tell myself all that stuff all day long, but when it comes time to do it, I have to be willing. Yeah. And I think that what we need to do more of is motivation. To me comes from like the feeling like I can't wait to do this. Usually when something's new or we have rebirthed something, there's that like period of time where you're motivated, or when something like you're actually doing something you look forward to in your business. The rest of the time, what we need is we just need willingness. We just don't need to sit around and dread. Like I love the concept of shrinking the amount of time I dread something. It's like, if I got to write my Monday newsletters, then I can kick it to 3:00 in the afternoon and dread it from 7 a.m. to 3, or I can say like, let's do this first, get it over with. And that way I don't have to spend the whole day dreading. It's easy to say that we can choose not to dread, but I'm always like, I just know my brain. If it's something that I'm not going to be motivated about, it means it's probably going to dread doing it. And so that's why I'm like, just take quicker action, get that done. And it's like hacking your brain. As life coaches, we love to do a lot of mindset work. And I like to draw the line between like, Corinne, where is mindset work you really need to do? Like this is affecting negatively your life. And where is mindset work that we just need to be like, come on, we ain't even working on that. Like, no, newsletters are not fun. We can just say that after 16 years of doing it, you've lost your love affair with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's a lot of mindset work, and then there's a lot of just like letting go. Okay, my mind cannot be changed. I'm not willing to change that thought about it. Just like make my peace with it. And like you say, shrink the time of that dread. If you're going to anticipate experience wise, that's how you've been, just like do it as soon as possible. They have that book, Swallow Your Frog Early in the Morning or something.
Oh yeah,
like
it's
that.
Like eating the frog or something about a frog. Frog's in the title. Yeah.
And something about eating them. Yeah, basically just means you do it first thing, like get it over with. Because it's not so much the dread, and then it's the dread of not doing it if you do decide to skip it. So it's not like you can escape the dread. So just do it and enjoy the rest of the time. And
yeah, because I think one thing that people like when it comes to like where do we want to work on something and when do we don't? I only work on mindset issues that if I tackle this, like this is going to change my life. Like I work on those things. There are some things it's like I can just change how I do things. And that like kind of solves it. So like that's a good example of one. It's like I could sit and do all the thought work I want on newsletters, or I'm like, the easiest way to do this is know that when it's time for newsletters, I schedule them first thing in the morning, first of the week, when I'm at my freshest. I'm probably not going to be motivated, but I'm also naturally determined during that time. I'm naturally like, it's easier for me to do my work, like work that I don't like. So I'm like, where are the areas I can just be strategic about how I plan my activities? So I don't even have to worry about that stuff. It's like,
yeah. No, that's great, because like you say, we have that much mental capacity. So let's direct it towards making mindset changes where it impacts the most. I'm going to borrow that. Like, I'm going to write that down somewhere.
Have it.
And then comes the part of the just take the action, like just do it, just do your thing. And then to me, another big part is body work, like somatic work, in terms of being aware of, okay, dread coming on, gotta figure out how to fix that. Either take the action or be done with it, or decide to do mind work, or just, or just deal with it at the body's level. We have so many options, and just understanding those options doesn't even have to do with even only with entrepreneurship. Any decision you're trying to make in life have a huge impact. Tell me about how you pivot your business, if you do, which I think you do, given how long you've been in business and how you envisioned it was going to start, how it ended up being, what the process was like. When you do decide to change tracks, what kind of variables do you consider? And who do you take in to that decision making? Kind of just...
Yeah, one of our actually values in our company. So I have a few years ago, once I started like hiring team members, I wanted to write like a culture guide for us. And one of the big things that we have in there is we talk about, we are a culture who changes on a dime. So if I think we need to do something different or throw something out or start over, we do it without complaint. That's just how we roll. And I think that's really important for entrepreneurs to have a very healthy relationship with constant change and pivoting. Is when you're growing your business, that's going to happen a lot. So like lots of things won't work. So you have to pivot. One way that we kind of decide when we need to pivot, so we ask a couple of questions. If something feels like we need to go in this direction or we need to do this, I always my team will come to me with 1,000 good ideas. I'm like, okay, before we pivot and before we change this, what are we going to break in the process? Because I think that is one really important conversation to have with yourself. Because a lot of times when we pivot, we're pivoting because we have a new idea and we're super excited about something. And that's great to be excited and you're highly motivated. But a lot of times excitement and motivation doesn't look for pitfalls and walls. It's just like, I'll run through anything. It's like, no, you won't. So we always ask that question. I'm like, all right, especially when you're really excited about an idea, you have already thought about the 1,000 ways it's going to win. Probably what you haven't thought about is, what will it break? Who won't like this? Why won't they like this? Who's going to suffer because of this? What changes in our processes is this going to require? And when you think about it like that, then you can take an honest look at, all right, all of these unintended consequences are worth doing it. I still like the idea. The pros still outweigh all of it. Now we have the roadmap of what we're going to need to solve to make sure this actually goes off, 80% good. Because even if you think it all the way through, there's going to be somebody that ain't going to like it, or there's a button somewhere you didn't think about. There's always something.
Some button.
Then if you think it through though, and you're like, oh, I didn't even think about all this, then it's like, oh, that's was a good idea. It's just now's not the time, or not a great idea. It just sounded good, but honestly, it's not. So when we're talking about pivoting, we do a lot of just making sure quickly, is the pivot worth it? And that's really important in entrepreneurship. And then we had COVID. Yeah. We had to pivot really hard. We had live events all sold for the year. And then COVID shut down a month before our first one. And so we had to decide, all right, when we knew we had to cancel, we had to decide, are we refunding? What are we doing? We had to, like, I had to pivot from this idea that my live events could only be in person. And I was like, we don't know when in-person's coming back. So our members want it. How can we create an amazing virtual experience? So we threw out all the event stuff that we were going to do, and we had to start over from scratch. And then out of that came some really awesome stuff. Well, now we do them hybrid, which is great. But like that year, we had content planned for 3 or 4 months past March of 2020. We had to throw all of it away because it wasn't addressing the problems of the room at the moment. And so there are just times when you have to do all that, and you can't get caught up in thinking something's wrong if you have to throw out work or if you have to change directions. You just have to always focus on whatever direction I'm headed in. I'm just going to believe it's the right one until something else tells me it's not.
Yeah. Especially even if starting out, not even in the middle of the business. Like if you thought you were going to start something and bulldoze through it in the energy of excitement, and then you all of a sudden have to pivot. And it's a great opportunity to kind of have a sanity check that, am I doing it because I have so much excitement, or have I considered all of the pros and cons? And not necessarily just to get fixated on the negatives or the cons, but just to consider them and then decide intentionally that you do want to move ahead with the change or the decision. But
well, I was going to say, when I first started, like my first big decision was I was going to work with everybody in email, one-on-one. And, we didn't have like Facebook groups or anything like that back then. It was literally the wild, wild west of the internet, it felt like. And so I was like, I'm going to work one-on-one with everyone. That's going to be the best way for them to get help and all this other stuff. Well, I got like 25 clients. And now I only charged $20 a month. So people were flocking to me because I was the cheapest deal on the internet. But I had these 25 clients and I couldn't keep up with them. And I had to figure out, like, all right, I got to pivot. I told everybody this was going to be one-on-one in email. This is not working. I don't even have the hours to do it. So then I had to think about that pivot moment. That's when I found, like, I started the first group. I moved them all into a group. I had to think about who was going to be upset because the way we were doing it was changing.
Yeah.
I had to think about how I was going to, like, are they going to pay differently because they're in a group and now not getting one-on-one? Like, those are just like, it just always happens in your business from the very beginning all the way through. You'll never stop pivoting.
Yeah. And once you've decided, let's say if you're starting something and you decided and you announced to everybody, all your friends and family, this is what you're going to do. And then you pivot, and then there's going to be, like you say, people are going to be disappointed. Oh, you said you were going to do this. This was going to be what's expected, and it's not. And then just consider both sides of the coin and move on. Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah. I do want to pick your brain on the risk-taking approach, because there is a foundational piece in entrepreneurship is your willingness to take some risk on yourself, most above everything else. And how much are you, like, what's your process? Do you have it down, or do we still go with, oh, change is the only constant and we'll just kind of deal with it when it comes along type of thing?
Yeah, to me, when I'm thinking about when I think about the concept of taking risk, for most of in all my experience with my business, there's been very few times where I took risks that, like, were going to, like, be huge financial things. Like one year it was like 2018 or 19. I can't remember, but we spent like $1 million in 2 months on Facebook ads. We had just decided, oh my gosh, everything's working. We're going to go all in. And we're like, spend a lot of money. And I know that sounds a lot to a starter, but my business wasn't making that much money back then. I mean, it was still in the 7 figures, but we were at the like $4 million mark. And when you say you're going to take 25% of the money that your business says and then spend it in 2 months, that's a huge risk. And of course, that one didn't pay off immediately. It took us a whole year for that to pay off. Like, we were very wrong. Here's a lesson for everyone. Just because your ads are working at a cheap level does not mean when you radically scale them that they keep working. It's like, there's a lot of things that happen and we didn't know until we did it. But most risk, I think, with entrepreneurs is egotistical risk. And not meaning you're arrogant, but like the ego, the one that, like, your self-concept, that part of you that's trying to protect your identity to appear smart and good and loving and intelligent and stuff, where most of the time in entrepreneurship, you're taking daily risks with your ego. It's like, I'm going to post this and they're all going to hate me. I'm going to like start my business and tell everybody and no one will believe I can do it. Like, that's what is so risky. And if you're willing to feel that risk, if you're willing to risk your emotional safety so that you can learn how to keep like how to manage your emotions and create emotional safety, you will go far in this business. Very far.
Wow. Because the way I posed this question, I thought this risk was somewhere outside. And I love the way you reframe it, that, oh, it's walking around with you.
Yes, like you're a pirate and you have your parrot called Risk right on your shoulder all the time, like like he's just there all the time.
Yeah.
But it's true though. I think like when I think about my business, we just don't make a lot of like, I mean, if I invest in a team member or something, at the end of the day, so much of the risk is more just all emotional. You know, what are people going to think about this? Like I'm even coming up with different things I'm wanting to do in my business right now. And the vast majority of what I'm weighing is my fears. You know, like my fears around doing this, which feels risky to make certain changes. And it's not about the money. Like it's, I mean, you know, especially when you're first starting, like when I first started, we didn't invest any money in my business. I cobbled together everything from free on the internet. And you still can do so much for free on the internet and start a business. It's insane how much you can do. So it wasn't like I like everything for me in the beginning that felt risky was more about, will this work or not? What will people think? That was where that risk was coming.
Yeah. And if you can create your own emotional safety, like you say, you can go so far. It's a huge talent to develop and huge mindset elevation. There is a component that every business, which I think a lot of it, I already spoke to you about in terms of motivation, risk-taking, decision-making, and all of that. It has to do with innovation. Like how innovative do you have to be? And when do you decide, okay, just going along with industry trends or going against the grain and taking a different approach? Because your business being weight loss being the main thing that you offer, it's like with the weight loss drugs. And I know a lot of these types of ripples have come in the past, come and gone. And with the weight loss drugs promising quick weight loss, painless, how does innovation play in a role in all of this in keeping your business healthy?
Yeah, so I watch all the trends. So like on like you were saying on the weight loss side, my members started talking about weight loss drugs, and I started really kind of figuring out like what's going on here. Weight Watchers is buying telehealth, and my members are starting to take. It's like it felt like no one was taking drugs, and then suddenly I was like, "Ooh, this is everywhere! Like what's happening?" It's an industry shift in the weight loss space, and I just decided you can fight it, or you can figure out how you're going to carve out your space in it. And so for me, I sat and really thought about like, what do I like as someone who does more intuitive eating and mindset work and everything, if a lot of my members are going to be using this, because a lot of them are using it for health needs, like they need these drugs and stuff. Right. I wanted to address those problems, and I want to come at it from somebody who's talking about this thing from a fresh approach. Like how do we use mindset with it? It's not going to solve everything. So I think it's really important to watch industry trends, just like on the business side. Right. Everywhere I look, everybody's talking about AI right now. Right. I can't pull up a podcast without somebody talking about artificial intelligence, chat GPT, and all the other things. And so I've been sitting back and thinking about, okay, this is an industry trend. This is something that's going on. Like, do we roll this in? Do we think we want to bring this in? Do we want to be anti, like be on the other side of it? Like you get to decide, but you just have to kind of think about your customers, your brand, and where it makes sense. And one of the things that I do is I look at trends, and I don't really roll it in unless I believe it's here to stay. If this is the direction everything's moving into, I want to make sure we stay relevant with it. And I want to fold it in a way that makes sense. And I would never fold in anything I didn't think made sense for me. But, you want, like with AI right now, I'm trying to teach my people, like, it's a starter tool, but it's never going to replace you and your uniqueness. And I want to help people like understand like pieces and parts of their business that they can use it in. And I'm doing that right now in my own. I'm using some AI to learn so I can teach my people that. So I just think with trends, if you just have to watch them, don't jump on every bandwagon that there is. Most of them fizzle out. Like we all thought, I jumped on the Clubhouse bandwagon when it first came out. I got off real quick because I could tell this is going south. Like I could just feel it, but I tested it and then I just got out.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of become a part of something it's not all or none thinking. Take what you want, leave what you don't, and kind of incorporate what you need to. Again, it's all about creating emotional safety around it, making sure if you do decide to just not do it, be strong in that decision. But innovation, again, has a lot to do with finding a combination and all of the above, which is drugs aren't the answer to it all. Thought work has a huge part in it, and AI isn't the answer at all. Your own uniqueness has a big part in it. So integrating all of those pieces, I think, comes in handy when it comes to innovating a phase of your business. Now, I do want to be very, very mindful of your time, even though I can continue this forever. Tell me and my listeners a few ways how they can work with you based on amazing value, amazing thoughts that you've provided us. How can we find you?
Yeah. Can I add one more point though to the last thing we were talking about? I was down. I was like, I appreciate you being respectful of my time. But I'm like, oh, I'd love to say this. When you are going to innovate in your business, here is one thing that absolutely helps us a lot. When we are going to do something new, especially if it's like a new tool, or we're going to jump on a new wagon, or we're going to do something different, I tell my team all the time, do not overcomplicate the process in the beginning. Do it manually for a little bit, even if it feels slower. What I watch a lot of people do, especially early on, is you will learn more doing things manually that's a little bit slower so you can figure it out. And then a process will create from it. And the moment you notice you're getting repetitive, then you formalize your process.
Then you automate it.
Yes, then automate it. And during that time when you're doing it manually and stuff, you'll also know if it's something to keep. I tell my team all the time, please do not automate something that we don't even know yet if it's going to work. We were just in a meeting where we were talking about, I don't even remember what we were talking about. We have an event, a business event coming up, and we're selling, like there's a public price. And then there's, if you want to bring someone from your team, there's a separate price. They're wanting to create special checkout pages. They want to do all this stuff around it. And I said, do we even know if people want it? And they're like, no. And I said, how about y'all create nothing, start selling it. And if we have enough demand, then you can do all that stuff. For now, somebody just went off all this stuff and then you'll figure it out. And they're like, oh, okay.
That's how you
so
do
for
it.
all of you, just save yourself some time. You do not have to get things out there faster with less perfection. And do it manually. And I promise you, processes will come. And you only need a process when you have something that you keep doing over and over again, that it's proven you are for sure keeping it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just had to say
that. That was very helpful. Absolutely. Thank you. No, so we let the process unfold while doing it manually, regardless of it being slow or not. And when it kind of proves its worth, then you automate it. It's genius.
Yes. All right. So this is how people can work with me.
Tell me.
If they're interested in weight loss, they can go to nobsfreecourse.com. I always suggest people take my free course first. Can I just warn them that I'm a little on the salty side?
Sure. I actually told.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone understands that if you're listening to my podcast, it's very sassy Southern language that's not great. So but if you are interested in the business side of things, it's nobsbusinesswomen.com. And we do business over there. It's frameworks. We teach you mindset. We do a lot of hot seat calls. We're very hands-on and interactive, and you get access to me, my marketing team, my customer delivery team. They're all in there answering questions every single day, helping people navigate those choppy early waters of setting up a business and starting one.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for everything you do. I just want to now take a moment to kind of wrap this up, even though I don't want to, but I want to express my sincere gratitude for appearing on my podcast. Your insights and expertise on the topics of all of this, startups, personal growth, entrepreneurship, it's been invaluable. I myself, I'm going to take a lot of valuable lessons and thoughts out of what you just said, and I'm going to direct my listeners to do the same thing, because there is a lot of value in whatever you offer, in whatever packaging you offer it in. And I've been a huge fan. I've been working around your work long time in different capacities, and it's really greatly appreciated. I really thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That was incredible. Inshallah, you guys took out a lot of take-home messages. There are 3 ways to work with this treasure of a coach, and that is through her No BS Weightloss Program, No BS Businesswoman, and Advanced Weight Coach Certification. I will leave the links for all of these resources in the bio. Again, a disclaimer, her work does include explicit language, so do it at your own discretion. But if you're able to look past that, you do take home a lot of valuable lessons. I pray you guys have a successful weight loss or entrepreneurship journey towards financial independence, whatever journey you're currently choosing. Please keep me in your du'as. I will talk to you guys next time. If you're interested in getting coached by me, I'm offering a very affordable opportunity to do that with Wisdom Wednesdays. This is not a course, not a lecture. This is an opportunity for live coaching, real change with Islamic adab and etiquette. You do not need more information. You actually need a space to create change. At $19.99 a month, which is the price of takeout dinner, you as a Muslim woman will create confidence, intimacy, and connection without shame or fear of judgment, because your privacy is my highest priority. So join at www.islamiclifecoachschool.com, resources, Wisdom Wednesdays. I'll see you inside, inshallah.